Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X research and professional physicist. And today I'd like to bring to you another one of my articles. This one is entitled Earth in Upheaval, Magma Rising from Beneath. Now, it was reported at the end of 2017 that magma was rising from beneath in the New England region, an area in the northeast of the United States not known to be geologically active and thus not known for volcanic activity. It is thought that the rising magma may reach the surface in the next 10 million years, which apparently is a short time in terms of geological timelines. However, this may be an extremely optimistic view of what is actually happening on Earth. The African Rift Valley region is known to be geologically active, and the region in the world where the continent is breaking into two parts, which will eventually be separated by ocean. According to normal geological timelines, this is supposed to take millions of years, and yet extremely large movement giving rise to fissures which are appearing overnight is occurring. This means that it may take only a few months or years for fissures to connect and for the ocean to be able to get into these fissures and thus cause the separation of the continent to occur. And you may look at Article 201 entitled Africa Breaking Up, a preview of what is to come. And what you see here is one of these fissures that just open up overnight. This one, I believe, is in Kenya. There are some that have appeared in Ethiopia as well. But we can see here what will eventually occur, how Africa will break up into two pieces. So if according to geological timelines, a process that is supposed to occur over millions of years is now happening literally overnight, is it possible that the rising magma under New England, which is supposed to take millions of years, can actually also happen at a vastly accelerated rate so that a volcano suddenly appears in that region? And if that is occurring in this region of the planet, can it also happen elsewhere? In order to answer these questions, it is helpful to understand why fissures are appearing overnight all over the Earth. They are more likely to occur in regions where the Earth already had a tendency to move apart, such as in rift zones, but they are also appearing in regions where no such tendency had been noted before. And we see some of these fissures here. This one is in India, this one in Saudi Arabia, and this one in New Zealand. Again, they often many kilometers long. They just appear overnight. Rainfall is usually implicated in the appearance of these fissures. But how does rain suddenly erode away enough earth to make fissures that are often several miles long? Rain is not a new phenomenon. There are many parts of the world that have experienced torrential rain for hundreds or thousands of years without this phenomenon being noticed. The other thing that is happening around the world, which has never been seen before, is the sudden disappearance of ocean water from coastlines, which then reappears days or hours later, indicating that it was a tide. And here's a photograph from one of these events. This one was from August 11, 2017. And this is Uruguay, Ponta del Este. You can see the boat sitting at the bottom of the harbor because the ocean disappeared as a result of an unprecedented low tide. Now, a tide can only be caused by a massive object being close to the Earth. This then suggests that the cause is not within the Earth, but outside the Earth. In fact, the cause is the fact that our solar system has been invaded by objects from outside the solar system. These objects are dead planets and stars, and they belong to a system which I call the Planet X system of stellar cores. These objects are depleted in energy and thus drain other objects of energy. The Earth is being affected by these objects and its energy is being drained. And you may look at Article 243 entitled Earth hosting at least 3 Planet X system objects. Everything seems to come down to energy, which originates with the photon or light. And you may look at Article 191 entitled The Photon Universe. It is all made out of light for more details on that. Planets and stars generate energy in their cores through radioactive decay. The stellar cores have run out of this energy, so they are depleted and thus absorb energy from other objects that still have it. And this is illustrated here. If we have a stellar core, which is basically a cold object depleted in energy, coming close to an object that still has a lot of energy in it, the energy will start flowing from the object that has it to the object that doesn't have it. And this causes heat or energy to flow from the core of the object that still has energy outwards towards its surface, and causes therefore its surface and all the layers beneath it to heat up. The connection itself between the two objects heats up, and that causes several things to occur with the sun, its solar flares, which I have talked about. And with the Earth, it will be ionization, heating of the atmosphere, electrical effects in the atmosphere leading to storms and lightning, and so on. Now, this causes heat to flow from the Earth's core, which then causes all layers to heat up. The first layer after the inner layer, which is the inner core, which is the layer generating the extra heat to heat up, is the Earth's liquid layer or the Earth's outer core. Increased heat will lead to expansion and increased pressure, and will thus cause magma to rise. Because the inner core is solid, the outer core is a liquid layer, so made out of magma. So increased heat will lead to expansion of this magma layer and thus magma to rise, which in turn will cause increased volcanic activity on the surface. So existing volcanoes will experience more eruptions, dormant volcanoes will become active, active volcanoes may experience more and longer lasting eruptions, and new volcanoes will develop as magma rises and reaches the surface in places where it had not done so before. And here we have an illustration of what actually occurs when a stellar core connects to the Earth. It draws energy from the Earth, and that means that more energy comes from the core of the Earth. So there's basically heat flowing outwards. That means all these layers heat up. This is the layer where the magma is. So the magma heats up, expands, and seeks a way out from the inner Earth, and thus moves towards the surface. But this is not all. In the course of observing the stellar cores in the sun's corona, it has become clear that their low energy status has greatly decreased their gravitational influence on other objects. And you may look at Article 210 entitled Stellar Core Gravity, Tidal, and G0 Constant for more details on that. That means that as the Earth's energy is absorbed, its gravity will decrease, which will cause not only its ability to attract other objects to decrease, but also its ability to pull its own matter inwards to decrease. This means that internal pressure will not be countered with the same degree of inward gravitational pulling, causing the Earth to expand outwards. The surface will thus be forced to grow in size, which will then cause it to fissure or crack open. But the expansion will be greater at the surface, but will still occur underground. Thus, fissures will form at all depths. Deep underground fissures will make the movement of lava from deep within the Earth to the surface easier, as it finds more weak areas through which to flow upwards. And here we have an illustration of what's occurring underneath the Yellowstone volcano. And we have, first of all, magma rising from the outer core of the Earth all the way up into a region inside the mantle. And so there's a large collection of magma here. And then there are fissures that allow some of this magma to move into this magma reservoir. Then there are fissures that allow it to move into the magma chamber. And this magma chamber allows then access for this lava to reach the surface. And as more and more magma rises and fills the magma chamber, eventually the pressure will reach a critical level, at which point an eruption may occur. Now, the Earth opening and breaking up, in addition to the heating of the layers, will also allow gases that may have been trapped underground, such as methane, to now escape to the surface. As methane mixes with oxygen, explosions become likely. This is the accepted reason why large numbers of sinkholes appeared in northern Russia in 2015. However, there may be more than that involved in this, as in order for such large holes to appear, matter filling these holes would have to have somehow disintegrated, which does not seem possible. But you see these large sinkholes and developed in this region of Russia. So this, I believe, is part of the stellar cores interacting with the Earth. Now, the Planet X system appears to be a huge system with perhaps many thousands of objects within it, and more of these objects seem to continually be arriving at the Sun's corona, so more will most likely continue to reach Earth and start interacting with it, and thus increase the energy drain, which will have the effect of increasing the heating of the Earth from the core and cause the rate of expansion to continue to increase. Thus, as the Earth continues to expand and magma inside the Earth continues to heat up, more and more magma will find its way to the surface. The eruptions may become endless events of magma from deep within the Earth finding its way to the surface, as seems to be occurring in Hawaii. And here we see an SDO image where we can see one of these stellar cores in the Sun's corona making a plasma connection with the Sun and thus drawing energy and plasma from the Sun. And here we see Earth's inner layers represented. We have the inner core, and this is the hottest and the densest part of the Earth. This is where most of the radioactive decay that's generating the energy which allows heat to flow from this area. Then there's the outer core, which is made out of liquid rock or magma. And then we have the lower mantle, the upper mantle, and finally the crust, which is very, very thin in most places, about 30 kilometers thick on average. Now, as heat continues to flow out of the Earth's inner core at an increasing rate, the lower part of the lower mantle will also become molten rock or magma, and thus the Earth will contain an increasing amount of expanding magma, which will tend to find its way toward the surface more and more as a result of increasing pressure. As to the increasing rainfall that is often blamed for the Earth fissuring, it is also a consequence of a large amount of heat coming from the Earth's core and rising magma leading to volcanic eruptions on the ocean floor, which in turn heats the ocean and causes unprecedented climate change. In addition, the stellar cores directly interacting with the Earth's atmosphere create electric effects, ionization, and condensation as energy is drained out of water molecules, leading to cloud formation. Condensation of water vapor into droplets of water causes the formation of clouds, which lead to increased cloud formation. increased lightning, and thus severe storm activity, which will drop very large amounts of rain very quickly. In other words, the Planet X system is causing the fissuring, the increasing volcanic activity, and the increased amount of rain. In conclusion, the Planet X system of stellar cores has caused our planet to be in upheaval as a result of the energy draining effect. This has the consequence of causing magma to rise from deep within the earth, causing dormant volcanoes to start erupting, eruptions to turn into unending events, and new volcanoes to form where none existed before. There are the references. This is Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X physicist. Thank you for watching.